What if I told you that the future of the Golden State Warriors might be shifting? Not under the bright lights, but in the quiet corners of franchise decisions. While the world watches Stephen Curry drain jaw-dropping shots and Draymond Green energize the defense, something significant might be happening behind the scenes. Jonathan Kuminga, a young forward with explosive athleticism and once seen as the next face of the Warriors, has found himself gradually removed from the spotlight. Not only is he off the court, but he's not even waiting on the bench. Instead, he's stuck in basketball limbo, completely out of the rotation and seemingly forgotten. To truly understand the weight of this move, we need to go back in time to the golden days of the Warriors. This was the team that changed basketball, turning the three-point shot into a powerful weapon. With Curry, Klay Thompson, and Green leading the charge, Golden State became a dynasty, collecting titles and forcing the rest of the NBA to catch up. Their pace, precision, and style made them nearly unbeatable. But no dynasty lasts forever. Eventually, even the strongest teams must face the passage of time. It happened to Larry Bird's Celtics, Michael Jordan's Bulls, and Kobe Bryant's Lakers. Now, the Warriors seem to have reached that same turning point. To prepare for the future, Golden State started adding young talent. First came James Wiseman, but things didn't go as planned. Moses Moody is still trying to find his place. Then came Kuminga, strong, athletic, and skilled. The idea was simple. While the core stars kept competing for titles, Kuminga would grow and eventually take the torch. It looked like the perfect plan. But in the NBA, things rarely go according to script. Imagine this. Chase Center is packed, Curry is doing his magic, and the Warriors are fighting to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, Kuminga, one of the most promising players on the roster, is just sitting there, suited up but never called upon. First, it happened in a loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, which dropped the Warriors into the play-in tournament. Then, in a must-win game against the Memphis Grizzlies, Kuminga stayed on the bench again. Stat sheets might not show it, but his absence sent a strong message. Coach Steve Kerr addressed the issue. He explained that in high-stakes games, rotations become tighter, and minutes go to the most trusted players. That explanation might work in many cases, but this was different. Kuminga wasn't just another bench player. He had averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and played 24 minutes per game during the season. Solid numbers for a young player still growing. Yet, when the games mattered most, he disappeared. Then came the reports. Anthony Slater of The Athletic confirmed what many had started to suspect. Kuminga wasn't just benched. He was officially removed from the playoff rotation. This wasn't a tactical adjustment. It signaled something deeper. It showed that the team might no longer view him as part of their short-term or even long-term future. Around the same time, Draymond Green publicly defended Kuminga. He said the young forward would be important in the next series against Houston. He framed Kuminga's absence as a mental hurdle, not the end. But seasoned NBA fans know how to read between the lines. When a respected veteran feels the need to speak out, it usually means the locker room already knows something's going on. The Warriors now find themselves at a crossroads. Should they continue leaning on veterans like Curry and Green, or should they slowly rebuild? Kuminga could have been the bridge between the two eras, young, athletic, and with star potential. But his recent exclusion hints at another plan. He may now be viewed as a trade piece to give Curry one more real shot at a championship. Kuminga's name has appeared in trade rumors before, especially before the last deadline. Back then, the front office held on to him. But with the season winding down and each game potentially being their last, this may not be just a strategic decision. It could be the start of his farewell. If the Warriors decide to trade Kuminga, the consequences will be huge. It wouldn't just mean giving up on a rising player. It would show the league that Golden State is focused solely on the present. That approach could mean targeting a veteran who can contribute right away. Maybe it's a reliable defender, a sharp shooter, or even a big name who seems unavailable now. The front office understands that Curry's championship window is closing. Every season without a title feels like a missed chance. And every minute Kuminga spends on the bench suggests that the team might be quietly moving on from him. So here's the big question. Are the Warriors making the right call by leaving Kuminga out at such a crucial time? Or are we seeing the beginning of a trade that could change the roster before the season even ends? Let us know what you think. Does Kuminga deserve more time, or has his chapter in the Bay already closed? And if you think Kuminga is the only one under the radar, think again. Moses Moody and a few others on the roster are also drawing attention around the league. Could the Warriors be planning a major move? What if I told you that the team might be close to making one of their biggest decisions since the dynasty era ended? A player who once represented the future of the franchise may now be quietly preparing to leave. Jonathan Kuminga, once a symbol of hope, may now be the first sign that a rebuild is already underway. This shift began during a game that on paper looked ordinary, but the 124-119 loss to the Clippers did more than drop the Warriors to the 7th seed. It forced them into the play-in tournament and exposed something deeper. Kuminga didn't play a single minute, despite being suited up and ready. Coach Kerr, with 4 championship rings and a reputation for making smart calls, made a decision that sparked a wave of speculation. In key moments, coaches typically rely on players they trust the most, but Kuminga's absence was too noticeable to ignore. Overnight, fans, analysts, and insiders began asking questions. Evan Sidery of Forbes was one of the first to say what many were already thinking. Kuminga's future in Golden State was in serious doubt. With each game he missed, his role shifted from a developing asset to potential trade bait. And to be clear, Kuminga didn't have a poor season. He averaged 13.3 points and 4.6 rebounds, showed better efficiency, and seemed like a steady part of the rotation. But in the NBA, stats only tell part of the story. Decisions are also based on chemistry, personality, practice habits, and long-term vision. If the Warriors are truly moving on from Kuminga, the decision likely came long before that Clippers game. And now a particular rumor is gaining momentum. If General Manager Mike Dunleavy chooses to convert Kuminga's potential into immediate value, the name being discussed is Devin Vassell of the San Antonio Spurs. Though still unconfirmed, the idea makes sense. The Spurs are building around Victor Wembanyama and want athletic players who can defend and still develop. Kuminga fits perfectly. For Golden State, the goal is different. Maximize Curry's remaining prime years. Vassell, a strong shooter at 36.9% from 3 on high volume, fits their system well. Financially, Vassell is appealing too. He's under a 5-year, $135 million extension that runs through the 2028 to 2029 season. That gives the Warriors contract stability as they navigate their transition. Golden State has been through this process before. They built their dynasty by believing in young talent, but also learned when to pivot. It's not always about talent, it's about the right fit and timing. If the Spurs deal happens, Kuminga would gain space to grow without the weight of immediate expectations. Meanwhile, Vassell wouldn't have to be a star, just the final piece in Golden State's puzzle. He could help them make one last push for a title before Curry's time runs out. It's fascinating to think that while everyone watched the scoreboard during the Clippers game, the real drama was happening on the bench. Kuminga waited for a chance that never came. Maybe that was the moment the Warriors stopped viewing him as part of their future. and started seeing him as a trade asset. Now, with the play-in underway and the offseason approaching, this story is just beginning. Like many big shifts in Warriors history, the biggest moves start quietly. One name leaves, another arrives, and the cycle continues. So, what would you do? Trade Kuminga for Vassell? Or stay committed to his development despite the uncertainty? Let us know your thoughts, because this could be the first domino in a chain reaction that reshapes the entire league.